Let's see. All right. I am live. Hey, everyone. Let's see. I don't know. It says sign into chat. I'm still trying to figure this. Oh, okay. Hold on. Give me a second. All right. Let's see. Here. So if you can see me and hear me, I'm logging in to see the chat session. So let me just do that real fast. All right. Fingers crossed. Okay, so now I gotta confirm on my phone. Yep. There we go. Continue. Okay, don't do that. Yep, that's right. Now skip. All right. I see everybody. Very good. So, according to, I've got two people. Wintermute, a man and his hobbies. Hey, how you guys doing? Let me, I'm still trying to get used to this whole live thing. So let me, I think I got everything set up properly. Excuse me. YouTube says that I'm live. You guys are here, so I think that's good. It says we have 3 people, so that means the 2 of you and me, I think, if that's the way it works. So yeah. So real quick, I guess I'll just get started, and we'll see who shows up and go from there. So yeah, this is Ron, Dungeon Noob. Thanks for joining me on this this live session, so to speak. So yeah, this is basically just to hang out. I started DMing, and I wanted to share kind of what all that was about, kind of some things that I learned about jumping into the Dungeon Master seat after being away for 40 years, because it took me like a year and a half to find a group to play with as a player, and then I decided I'm going to jump in the ring and do a, what's it called? Going to do a, oh, hey, Mike. Good to see you. I assume Mike as in the Mike I play Mills Crossing with, right? Is that the right mic? And hopefully, I think I set it up so there's no delay in the chat. Fingers crossed. But yeah, if that's the mic, that hopefully I'll get a reply soon. So I wonder if there's a, it might be on YouTube, it lets you control the amount of chats that are coming in. And I thought I set it to just 0 delay, but it might be. Awesome. Cool, Mike. So for those watching in the future, or for those who, the other person who's online right now, Mike is one of the guys that I play D&D with. The campaign is called Mills Crossing. It's a homebrew. The DM, Brett, we're kind of on a pause hiatus because some things happened, and then one of the players, his wife had a baby, so I'm assuming that she would rather have him at home than playing D&D for 4 hours on a Saturday, but who knows? Yep, awesome. I'm glad you could join, Mike. Yeah, last time, I was DMing just towards the end of that campaign. I think I started like maybe like 2 sessions before the last session that we had. So yeah, I've been DMing since then. So I'll share some of the ideas and kind of the stuff that's been going on, and kind of the trials and the tribulations and trial by fire or whatever they call it. So yeah. Hey, Mustard. I'm gonna mess up these names. So if you have a name, so if you're coming in, if you have a name you want me to call you by, I'll see if I can remember. So right now it's easy. We got Mike and Mustard. So if you have a name you want me to call you by, try to do that, and I'll see if I can remember. So, all right, so let's do it. So, all right, so I'm just going to get started. So, unless, of course, this is also a hangout. So if you guys have questions or anything like that, be happy to talk about it. I have a new long form video, and most most of my subscribers come from shorts because I started the channel with shorts, and then I started doing long form, and I just released one video on dice and how fair your dice are. I rolled 5 dice 1,000 times each and kind of had some really interesting data. So this is one video from a series that's going to be, and this one's basically, uh, can you trust your dice? You know, that type of thing. The next one's going to be kind of a review of Honest Dice, which is the one that I have. It's one of the dice I rolled in the video. And then let me think. And then then there's, does your dice have personalities? That's going to be another version of the data, because after your 1,000 rolls, 5 dice, you have 5,000 plus data points. So it's a lot of cool videos. But anyway, if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch it later. Let's see. Oh, cool. Long form video. That's awesome. Thanks, Wintermute. Yeah, it's, I prefer long form, to be honest with you. Like when I watch YouTube, it's all long form. I've never watched the shorts. You know how like you have the shorts little button on your phone or whatever? I never watch it. It's just not my thing. So, oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Mustud. I guess I could say that. But yeah, it was, thanks for saying that. I was proud of it. I was proud of the effort it took to roll 1,000 times, each die 1,000 times, using, where is it? Here it is. Just checking to see anyone. Anyway, so this is one of the dice towers that I used. It was great. And I'll even, let's see if I roll anything. 18, not bad. That would hit most things, I would think. So yeah. But yeah, so I just want to spend some time. Hopefully more people will join us. Feel free to ask questions. This is more or less a chit chat type of thing. I mean, I don't even, like I said, I'm new to the whole live. I've done like 3 lives before, maybe 2, and then I did the dice rolls live. But I haven't really done any of this stuff live. So it's not a great production quality video. I know some YouTube creators, they've got like the intro screen and they got cut stuff and they do all these kind of fancy stuff. Maybe I'll get there, but I'm not there yet. So yeah. Let's see. Long form, just checking that. So Rod. Okay, Rod. Thanks for coming. Okay, so yeah, ask questions, etc. So I'll start just by talking about, so I kind of mentioned this in a little bit, but Mike, who's in the live here in the chat, he's one of the guys who I play D&D with, and we have a campaign. It's a homebrew campaign called Mills Crossing, and we were meeting every other week, and it was great because it's the first D&D campaign that I was in since getting back into it since I was like 12 years old. So it was awesome. I did a few one shots before that. But this was the first time that I really played a campaign. So I kind of obviously fell in love with it. It was a lot of fun. I was a ranger. I was a Tabaxi ranger, which was great. And I think we made it up to level 3. I think, Mike. I think we made it to level 3. I think we started level 2 and then we got to level 3. So, but anyway, I started getting the itch to do more like D&D, and we couldn't do every week. So I thought, maybe I can find another group. So I went out and tried to find another group, and that was near impossible. So I thought, what if I became a DM? Because it's probably a lot easier to get players than it is to try to find a group that's already playing and they need someone, or try to find a DM, collect a bunch of players and then find a DM. It's probably, there are a lot more players out there than there are dungeon masters. So I decided to do that, and I posted on a Facebook group in our local area to see if anyone was curious. And lo and behold, I got 6 people total, and eventually it settled down on 4. And so we've played 4 weeks, and it's been great. There's some hiccups which I'll get to in a moment, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, Mike. Yeah, 3. Okay, so yeah, we made to level 3, and so. Yeah, so that's kind of the story of becoming a DM. I thought I want to play every week so I could play as a player on like week 1, and then the next week, week 2, I could be the DM. And it was going great for like 4 weeks. And then How many watching this? I think there's 6 people here. So how many people watching are DMs? Like, I know you might be players as well, but how many have are current DMs or have played the role of DM? Hey Joel, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for the kind words. And yeah, I feel I'm gonna keep doing it. I have been having a lot of fun with the whole channel. It started in November of 2024. It's been great, and I couldn't I couldn't find a group to play with when I first got back into it. So I was like, how can I still be in the hobby but not have a group? And I was like, well, maybe I'll start a channel and just share what I'm learning as I'm learning, so to speak. And I kind of have fallen, the shorts are more lore based. The long forms have been a mixed bag of lots of different things. So I think I'm going to keep it to long form to two types: lore and experiments, like the dice experiment. I'm going to do more stuff like that. So some comments suggested that one of the videos I do is do digital rolling, because Google has a dice roller. Of course, all the virtual tabletops like D&D Beyond and um, gosh, what's the other? Roll20. They all have their own dice rollers. So someone was like, you should do that with those. Like pick 5 and then roll those 1,000 times and see what happens. And I was like, that's a great idea. So that's probably going to be in the mix too. Let's see. Let's DM. Whoa, 25 years ago. Wow. So Nathan, you're a DM. That's awesome. And then Joel, you said you're a DM. Let's see. So Mike. Okay, so you got some, and Mike. I think that Brett said you. No, I think he said that Kyle and Brian, who are also in my group, in our group. Not, I'm saying Mike, you know that they're in our group, but for everyone watching, they're in our campaign as well. I think they want to run a one shot or two. I think, and then Brett said that he'll get back to us and email to try to figure out that. So anyway, that's inside baseball for my group with Mike. Yeah. Okay, so Winter Mule, Rod. Let's talk about that for a second, because that's one of the big issues with uh, playing D&D with a bunch of busy adults, because finding the group wasn't too hard. I had to, like, I think 6 or 7 reached out, and then 4 were serious. We met 4 times every other week, and then the 5th week it was, you know, 2 people couldn't make it because of XYZ, and then the following week I hurt my foot, had to go to one of the urgent care centers to see if it was broken. It wasn't broken, it was fine. And then the following, so it's been like 4 weeks and we haven't met just because of things happening. So at this point, I'm kind of considering, should I just end it, or should I one more time just say, all right, guys, can you make this date, and look ahead in your calendars to make sure there's nothing on it so we can continue to play. But of course, things come up. People get sick. People have kids. They've got job stuff. Things happen. So Rod, when you mentioned it ran off the rails, I kind of get that. Is that what happened to yours? Does yours like run off the rails? Like people just stopped coming, or was it like infighting among players or that kind of thing? Let's see. I was following up with. Let's see. Okay, so a bunch of DMs. That's cool. Down a player in one. Okay, cool. Yes. So Wintermute. I am not a programmer. I have taken programming in high school, and I think I did something like a private class in college. So we're talking a long time ago. Now, it may have changed, but if anyone, and I guess if you're a coder or anyone else, I've heard that random numbers for a computer aren't really random. I don't know how it works. I don't know, but I remember my professor at my high school saying, and he explained why, like when you use BASIC or Fortran or COBOL or any of the other ones, you can run random numbers, and I think they're even like commands or what have you, but they're not truly random. So if anyone can explain that, um, that would be great. I mean, I could Google it, but I figured might have some experts here. So, uh, okay, so I'm just looking and keep catching up. Let's see. Yeah, I hear you, Mike. I'm believe it, or not, I'm an introvert too. People don't think I am, but I actually am. So I hear you with that. So when I did the DM, like especially the role playing side, I had to really come out of my shell. That's something else we can talk about. That was a challenge for me. Let's see, Winter Mute, you said yours went off the rails because I thought something was funny. Then the dice didn't. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, the dice. And if you watch the video, you'll these little suckers, they're evil. They're evil. Um, let's see, D&D Beyond. Okay, so Joel used D&D Beyond. Okay, yeah, the scheduling. Yeah, yeah. It's so funny you say it's the real BBEG. I tell people that I think I've mentioned this either in a video or I don't know where, talking to friends, that the biggest monster to kill, the hardest monster to kill in D&D is people's schedules. Trying to get a bunch of adults together at the same time, same day in a cadence, whether it's every week, every other week, or whatever. And I don't know, are you guys, uh, do you have any Facebook groups where, I belong to a few Facebook groups, and people are always posting their, like, it's a kind of a selfie at the top, like posting a selfie of their group. And it's a couple of them, it's the same, like every week they're posting. And I'm like, gosh, it's like, I want to have a group like that. So hopefully, Mike, that we'll all be able to get back together. I think also Brett said he's going to try to do something in, uh, after the summer, during the fall when things go back to normal. Let's see. Okay, so winter mute. Okay, so yeah, so I was right. So they're not, and again, that was like when I was in high school. So that was like 1990, 1990, 1989, 1990, 91, something like that. So I didn't know if things changed, but it's good to know. Scheduling is impossible, yes. Let's see, I love story and role playing. As a player, my last character was Hexblade Samurai. Oh, nice. Yeah, backstories are fun. I, I didn't. So the weird part was, and I don't know, and you guys, I'm coming back after 40 years. So I've been playing D&D, have had the channel for about a year and a half, so relatively new. I played when I was, like I said, a teen, like 12 years old or something like that. And back then, we didn't do backstories. Like I remember playing with friends, and we didn't have backstories. We just rolled for characters, and we get character sheets, and we did all of that. We painted the figures, we did all the stuff, but I don't remember us doing any kind of backstories. And I'm curious. I went from like 1E to 5E. And during that time, where backstories kind of developed, did they become more popular, like the history? I've never looked into it. So I'm curious if anyone out there who's here on the chat, if you've been in D&D since the very beginning, like from 40 or 50 years ago, um, have backstories become more important as it has gone on, or have they always been important? It's just my friend group just didn't think they were important. So that could be it too. I mean, we're only 12, so let's see. Gaming. So I actually am thinking about, since we're talking about DMing, uh, you mentioned a bunch of people are saying one shots and Zoom gaming sessions. What I think I might do is, as much as I want to do a campaign and DM an actual campaign, I think that it's becoming just too difficult. I mean, maybe that group that I mentioned before earlier, maybe all of them will say, yeah, let's give it one more shot. We'll clear our calendars and then we'll hopefully be able to do it. But if not, I'm thinking of trying to find like just doing one shots, like finding a game store. Like I know, like we have in my area, it's called the Game Haven. There's a bunch of other stores like that are a little bit further away, or post somewhere and try to like do one shot. So people would come and just come in for that time and just do a one shot with them. Because one of the other things I like is trying to bring more people into the game, just, D&D and just the RPGs in general. Because I think a lot of people would like it. I really do. I really think a lot of people, if they open their mind and they actually sat down, I think they'd have a lot of fun. They really would. Let's see, backstories. Let me go back up. Okay, so so Winter, you graduated in '88. I graduated in '91. Yeah, I graduated in '91. So I think I started '88, '89, '91. So you were probably a senior when I was. No, wait a minute. No, never mind. That's backwards. You graduated and then I came, and then. Oh, wait a minute. You were probably a senior when I was just arriving as a freshman. Yeah, that's right. You played a teen in the '80s. Didn't do backstories. Okay, first husband. She did. Cool. And then, okay, so then SD modeler, you say that, oh, wait a minute. I typically run a death happen. What's that? What's a 2E35E death happens? Is death happens the name of a module? I've never heard of that. Let's see. Someone said, where did it go? Someone said it became, oh yeah, okay, so Marty said that backstories became more of a thing in the 3rd edition. Okay, so Mike, you 2003, no backstories. Okay, cool. And the cool thing I do love is that with my group, they gave me their backstories, and I was trying to really put elements of the, it was I was running the module Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. It's the module that comes with like the starter set or something like that. And it comes with pre-rolled characters, and we didn't do that. They created their own characters, but I used that module. So I was trying to weave in their backstories and do some things so that as they're going through the campaign, they get little hints of, what their backstories are. So I thought that was fun. And that's one of the things I like about DMing is it allows you to get that kind of creativity. Let's see. So one shot Game Haven. Oh, cool. Yeah, I probably should do that. I don't know the owner of Game Haven, but I've been there so many times because I was a DM for a group of kids from Mike. You probably know this. Locally, there's a place called Kennedy Krieger, and it's kind of a school facility, whatever you want to call it, for people with learning differences, kids who are on the spectrum, all of that. And so they, personality differences, and I volunteered to do D&D with them. So that was a lot of fun, and we played at the Game Haven. And so not that I know the owner, but he's seen me come in like a gazillion times, and we've chatted many, many times. And I know, I think Brett, I think he knows the owner, or because we were talking a couple days ago. But anyway, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Maybe like on a Saturday or Sunday, something like that. And also, let me ask you guys, have you ever been to a bar, brewery, bookstore where they have like a bar will have trivia night? Well, have you ever been to a bar that does D&D night? Because I've seen that on a few Facebook groups that I'm a part of where, in some place in St. Louis, they, some, bar has D&D night on Thursday nights or something like that. So I thought about, there's a friend of mine who it's called High Tower Brewing, I think. It's about like 40 minutes north of me. And I asked him, I'm like, would you want to do a D&D night? And he's like, well, we just opened. We're trying to get things settled, but he's looking for maybe a Sunday. So if by chance that I might do something like that. So Mike, I'll keep you posted if I do that too. All right, let me catch up on this is my favorite part. I love the chatting. I kind of wish that you could do voice chatting, but then if with too many people, it might get too crazy. But anyway, let me catch up. Let's see, I'm just catching up. Yeah, so Selena the Slayer. I would say I did a video. One of my first videos was how to find a group. And it was interesting because I was kind of in the middle of trying to find a group, and I was kind of sharing everything that I did. And that video's got some good ideas. I think the best way to do it is the fastest way is to get on Facebook, put in Dungeons and Dragons and then your area. So for me, I'm in Baltimore, so at Dungeons and Dragons Baltimore. For you, you might be in St. Louis or Los Angeles or whatever. So just D&D Los Angeles, Dungeons and Dragons Los Angeles, or whatever it might be, and then join those groups. There are other groups where it's like, I think one's called D&D Group Finder of America, but it's the entire United States. So people are posting for places that are nowhere near me. So it's always best to try local, unless you want to do online. If you want to do online, then that makes it a little easier than if you want to do in person. Let's see. And then I wanted to, about the other thing, finding a group. You never know. Like for me, and I mean, I don't know if Mike, I don't know if you know this story, but I started playing with the group that I was in, that hopefully will be starting up in the fall again. Brett, the DM, I usually work at Panera, meaning like I don't work at Panera as an employee, but I work on my laptop there. I get the coffee. They got the free sip club, so I get the coffee. I sit there and I do my work. And I had a stack of D&D books next to me because I was working on my real job stuff as well as some D&D stuff. And Brett walked over and he kind of looked over and he's like, "Oh, you play D&D?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I do too." So that's actually how we started. So you never know how you might find a group because that was just a random occurrence. So that guy, Brett, came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you play D&D?" Then we had a conversation. He comes into that Panera a lot, and we became friends. And then he invited me to play D&D with the group. So that's kind of the story. So you never know what's going to happen. Let's see. So SD modeler, like we're probably, I don't know if we're the same age, but I played 1E when I was like 12 years old. And I remember, okay, so anyone who's younger watching this, like if you're in your 20s, maybe 30s, I'm going to have a senior moment because I'm going to talk about old man stuff. I don't think the kids know how good they have it now. You can go on Amazon, find, minis, buy big bags of dice. You've got, what's it called? Hero Forge to create your character. Literally, you can create any character you want with clothing and, armor and, weaponry and everything else. And I remember way back in the day, there was one store in my area called Ezekiel's Wheel. It was predominantly a hobby shop with like, model planes and trains and stuff like that. But in the back corner, they had D&D, and they had a few books, a few dice, and a few characters. And then every so often, I think like a couple magazines. I don't know if Dragon Magazine was like this, but there were some mail order stuff you could do. But today you can just do whatever. So anyway, I sound like that old guy yelling at kids to get off my lawn. So anyway, let me just take a look. Oh, Joel, yeah, no problem. If I can make you feel young, that's awesome. So 2005, I have two daughters. One's in college now. The other one is junior in high school. When did 2000? You said 2000. So one was actually born, and it was 2004, 2008. So anyway, oh, Mike, yeah, Kennedy Krieger is a great school. No, okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know there was no such thing as death saving throws. You're dead. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, Peneric, if I'm saying that. It's almost like Panera, but Peneric, yeah. You gotta put those dice in dice jail. Or one commenter on the new video said that he rolled like 5 nat 1s in a row and then got a hammer and just basically obliterated the dice, turned it to dust. It's great. All right, SD modeler, yeah, take your time. I'm here for a bit. I'm just looking if I missed anything. If I did miss something, I apologize. So, okay, no, I didn't miss anything. So, yeah, I would say the other thing with DMing that I learned, and so if you're a DM and like experienced, you're probably gonna nod your head. And you're gonna be like, "Yep." And for those who haven't or are just starting, just word of advice, I guess the story is I would go to the bookstore and I would get a module, let's say Curse of Strahd or any of the other ones, or I think like something of Faerun or whatever it is. And I'd go to the bookstore like Barnes and Noble, I'd open it up and I'm like, where are all the details? Like, where are all the details? Like, it's like I want to know more about this encounter. I want to know more about what these people are. And then I'm going through it and I'm thinking, there's like 30 NPCs. It's like, do I have to memorize all of this? And so I was stressed out, a little scared. Like I said, I kind of come across as an extrovert, but I'm not. I'm an introvert. And role playing, like making pretend you're somebody else at the table and talking as if you're that character and, whatever it is. I'm not even talking about like doing a voice, but just doing that role play. That was well out of my comfort zone. And then I'm like, and on top of that, I have to like memorize all this stuff. And I was kind of overwhelmed. And then after the first session, which went fairly well for someone who hasn't done it in 40 years and all the new rules, I did okay. The second session went so much better because I didn't memorize it all. I got the basic gist of what was going on. I took some notes, bullet points, and then it's kind of improv. Like, you don't want to improv the important parts, but a lot of it is just being on your feet and improving as you're going along. So I don't know if you're a DM out there, is that kind of what you've found? Because that seems to be the way it worked for me. Oh yeah, yeah, Joel. It's my eyes. Same here. It's like I don't need glasses for like most things, but if I read, I need glasses. And so yeah, sometimes these tiny dice, like this one's really tiny. The let me see. So anyway, the honest dice is bigger. Let me see if I can. I don't know if this is gonna. If you can see this. Let's see. It's gonna be blurry. But the honest dice, which is the one right here, is bigger. Probably. I don't know. I'm bad with percentages and seeing which is percentage bigger. Maybe like 20% bigger. So if I hold it in my hand like that, it's hard to see. But the red one, the honest dice, is actually bigger. Oh, the other thing is, Mike, if you're still there, this die right here, the honest dice, okay, it's when I did the test, it's a fair die, meaning that it is, the numbers come up in the predictable frequency that they should. But it did roll a 20 more than any other. It rolled the number 20 more than any other number on the face of the die. So even though everything was within boundaries, it did roll a 20 more often. So I'm probably going to be using this when we go next time we start up a campaign. All right, see. Hey, Rivers RPG, awesome to see you. Yeah, thanks. I want to say thank you for commenting as much as you do. And sometimes I don't comment, just because I'm busy or whatever. But I see all of your comments, and and the sad part is this: when I was brand new and I didn't have many like subscribers, I could reply to everybody, which was fun. And then as I grew, it just became harder and harder and harder. And so yeah. But thank you for being there. Let's see. Yes, I assume you mean yes when it comes to kind of you have to improv. You have to kind of ad lib and go with the flow. Um, where's it, if you someone told me recently if you're it's something like if you can't plan for it, make it up or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. I say, Winter, you say you bought my oldest daughter giant foam dice when she was a baby. Oh, that's awesome. How old is she now, if you don't mind me asking? Mine are 17 and 21. And here's a foam dice. This is a foam dice. That one and this one. So that one. And I wish I could get them into it. I've tried to get them to play D&D, even with the friends, and I'm like, you guys are gonna like it. I think you really will. I think they got the personality for it. I think they'd have fun with it, but they're not interested. So I kind of get jealous because when people take the quiz, I send them emails about just D&D stuff, and you probably, if you're on my list, you probably got the newsletter today. But people will reply saying that I got my my kids are into it, and I'm DMing now a campaign with my kids, and I get emails like that, which is cool. But I get jealous. I'm like, I wish my two kids were into it, but they're 17 and 21, so they don't want to hang out with dad and play D&D. So that's sad. Let's see. Yes, Joel. Yeah, I think that's the cool part is, oops, oh, timeout. I gotta plug in my computer. Oh boy. All right. Oh, good. Okay, good. I thought my laptop was plugged in and it wasn't, and I only had like 10% left. I'm like, oh, oh. All right, so I was gonna say, yeah, the players kind of help, especially if you're, and again, if anyone's thinking about being a DM, you're a player, the best thing to do is I put a post out on a Facebook group in my area that it's a D&D Facebook group, whether it's there or D&D Beyond or whatever it is, however you connect with people and you want to DM, the most important thing that I found was like, you tell them, I'm brand new, I haven't done it before, and the whole point is I want to with DM, we want to have fun, and I want you to help me through it, kind of thing. And the players, they've been great because there was one brand new player. She listens to a lot of D&D podcasts. She's kind of she does a lot of like listening and learning, and she watches the YouTube channels, but she's never played, so she was brand new. Then there was one person who's been playing a year, and then two people who've been playing for like 5 or 10 years, and the other woman, she was like 10 years, and she plays like 3 RPGs a week. And I'm like, when do you have time to do anything else? But anyway, they were great. They really helped me through different things and checking things like what's the DC for this, or what's the certain spell, what are the mechanics of the spell, or you know what is this prone condition, how long does that last, or whatever it might be. So they were great. Let's see, 12 and 8. Okay, so they're still little. They're still little itty bitties. Now, do they play? Do they play with D&D, or have you tried to get them to play? Let's see, 40%. Yeah, okay, so 40% plan, 60% improv. Uh, Players can do out your plans because they will try. Yeah, they will. And a lot of times they don't even know it sometimes because it's like you plan, but you're like, because the nature of D&D and role playing games, literally they can do anything they want. So if I was thinking, okay, they're probably going to do one of these two side quests or whatever it is, they could have said, "Oh no, we're going to go do that over there," and I'm like, "Oh crap, I don't, I have nothing planned for that," kind of thing. So, um, and then one was I had to something. Time was running short on something. I can't remember what it was, but they were trying to. They met. I think it was a ghast or a ghoul. I can't remember which one it was. It was a ghast or a ghoul, and the cleric cast something on the ghoul, and I think behind the DM screen, I'm like, I have to leave soon. We have a hard cutoff at 2 o'clock. It's getting kind of at that point. So I rolled, and I think they needed I'm just making this like a 15 to it was like I had to roll a 15 or higher, and I got a 14. But I was like, oh, it's a 15, so the spell worked. I can't remember what it was. It was like the second session, and that was kind of speed up the process because we were getting late, and I was like, I got a hard stop at 2, and we were like literally in the middle of this encounter. So anyway, but yeah, so you kind of improv on the fly, and things don't go the way you want to. So I wish I could had more details about that. Let's see. No, actually, Honest Dice is a good one. Um, Based on, and you can watch the video. It has all the details in there. Um, all of the numbers come up within the frequency that a random dice should. And again, I'm not a statistician, but based on kind of how I learned this stuff as I was going, when you roll a d20 1,000 times, there's a certain statistical probability that says this is the range they should be in. And it was it was in the range, but it just rolled more 20s than other numbers. And I think like the number 6, it rolled less frequently, but it still was in the range of if there was a perfectly random dice, it was in the range of that perfectly random dice. So not to say this is a perfect die, but it was the closest in the study. And some of them were really bad, like really, really bad. In fact, I think the one was, if you watch the video, the one dice was so bad that the probability of a truly random die behaving that way was 1 in 4.8 billion with a B. That's like, and I think in the video I said it's like flipping a coin 36 times and getting heads. That's how improbable it was. That's how bad this dice was, because probably the manufacturing defects, the weighted in certain areas, and all that kind of stuff. So it was a fun one. So I would say, and they didn't sponsor me, Honest Dice, they didn't sponsor me or anything. I bought the dice when I saw it on Facebook because I thought it was interesting. It's expensive. It's like $37 for a die. So it's expensive, but if you want a dice that's balanced, at least with this one die, it did pass. But anyway, my son plays. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's so cool, SD modeler. Yeah, maybe I'll convince at least the one daughter who's home. The other one's in college, so uh, maybe I can try. It's a summer. Maybe I can get her friends to. Because you just need like just two, just her and 2 friends, and have a one shot. Um, let's see. Oh, he's 27. Okay, awesome. Oh, awesome, Mike. So you have 11-year-old wants to play. That's cool. And I remember, like, keep me posted because I think you said that you wanted to run a at least a one shot. I think at your place, and so yeah, let me know when that happens. I'd be more than happy to be a player there. Oh, that's awesome. So Homestar might be DMing a thing for him. That's awesome. And then you say D&D Beyond rolls low often. That's interesting. And I think I mentioned this. My next video, because a couple people replied or made comments that um, I say a lot. If that gets annoying, I apologize. So they said that the next thing you should do is do like the Google roll. There's a Google Dice Roller. There's Roll20. There's D&D Beyond, as Mike you said. There's there's probably another 2, and I think there's one even like random.org I think has one. So it's like taking those, rolling them, which is basically clicking your mouse button 1,000 times and recording those results. So, but yeah. Whoa, 6 nat 20s in a row. Yeah, I don't know like the probability of that off the top of my head, but that's probably pretty rare. But that's awesome. He probably has that. That's the one he pulls out when he needs to make that huge, either a saving throw or needs to roll that nat 20. Oh, they put ads in the lives? Really? I didn't know that, Jane. Oh, okay. So you know why? That's so we all have streaming services right now. We have Netflix and Hulu and I don't know, and we have Peacock and God knows what. There's a dozens of them. And about a year ago, I decided to get YouTube Premium because I got sick and tired of watching the ads. And I think it's like $7.99 a month, $10 a month, something like that. And let me tell you, it's the best. That right there is because I watch YouTube a lot, the long form, and I usually watch it on my TV. And I just got tired of the ads. So I apologize that the ads, and I didn't. Now I know that on videos, creators can tag them as turn off ads, but I don't think you can do that in a live. Let me see. I don't know if it'll let me do it now. Let me just, there's that. If I edit it, I hope I don't lose anybody. Wait, let's see. Was this? All right, let's see what happens. Okay, so Jane, if you're still there, not watching an ad, I just turned off monetization. I didn't even know that that was a thing for lives. I assume lives didn't have it. But anyway, let's see what happens. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so here's the thing. Does that turn off monetization, but they still run ads? Is that what that means? Let's see. It says choose how you want to monetize your live stream. Pre-roll and display ads are automatically inserted when monetization is on. So I turned it off. Hopefully that's all I need to do. So anyway, fingers crossed. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. All right, let me take a look. Okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know, Mike. That'd be awesome to do. And I will let you know. I'm gonna try to this week contact or go to the game Haven and see if I could just volunteer to run a one shot there. Yeah, right. So I could I could go down a rabbit hole in this. I remember when the other thing that gets me upset is you pay for these services, HBO, HBO Max, uh, Amazon Prime. You get their video. You do Peacock and all the rest of them, and you pay for those services, and yet they still run ads. I think the only ones that don't are Disney and Netflix. Netflix, I think, had an ad tier for like $4.99, but I think they got rid of that. So I think it's just, yeah, I think it's just Netflix and Disney so far, at least the ones that I have. YouTube, I bought their premium just because I got tired of the ads. I love The Office. So The Office is my second favorite fandom. So it's D&D and The Office. I love The Office. I probably have seen it. I'm not kidding. Probably have watched it through 50 times or so. And I quote it all the time. It's part of my vernacular. But anyway, so I get Peacock and I pay for, I think I don't know, it's like, I don't know, $7.99 for Peacock, but then it's like $12.99 for no ads. So it's like, okay, I'll pay for the no ads because I watch it so often. But the other ones like HBO, those are, anyway, I'm getting way off topic. Won't stream. Yeah, I don't know anything about ad blockers. I've never used them, and but I know that YouTube is cracking down on them. I think that many of the big ad blockers that were out there, I saw something pop up in my feed, and I don't know whether it was X or Facebook or YouTube. I have no idea, but I remember there was a time, probably 6 to 8 months ago, where YouTube put in new technology so that it stopped the ad blockers or something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see if I missed anything else. So yeah, Jane, hopefully, and let me know now that that's done. Anyone who's watching this, let me know if you still get ads. Let me know if you still get ads. Hopefully that is not the case. All right, so yeah, going back to being a DM. Yeah, I told you about just finding the group, just making sure they know that you're new to it and that you're there for the fun of it, and it's the whole purpose is to have fun. Um, and then improvise. And I think that it was, I can't remember who it was, maybe SD Modeler. Uh, you said, you know, 40% plan, 60% improv. That I agree with that wholeheartedly. Then I would say the other thing is, so the biggest challenge that I've had is keeping track of initiative and all hit points of the creatures. This is the very first encounter they get. It's like 4 zombies or something like that. And I was like, okay, roll initiatives, do this. And I'm like with the thing, and I got my phone. I'm like calculating it out and doing all this other kind of stuff. And that was kind of a pain. Yeah, a friend of mine, I told him about it, and he's actually building an app, like an encounter tracker app. And I've been looking at it. It's pretty cool. And I think D&D Beyond has one, and there's some other ones out there, but I found them a little too clunky or complex for at table play. I guess Roll20 and all the other virtual tabletops keep track of all that for you, I would assume, or it's easy to keep track of initiative. And, if Susan, hits a goblin and, takes, hits for 3 points of damage, it takes off 3 points of damage. That was the other thing I found challenging. And to be honest with you, I haven't found a good system for that yet to keep track of it all. I'm hoping my friend's app can do it because it's kind of cool. So hopefully that's not quite done yet. Awesome. Glad, Jane. Thanks for letting me know, and thanks for letting me know that you haven't got an ad yet. Let's see what else has popped in. Joel says, I did homebrew and mod. Yeah, I would agree with you. I would say that homebrew can be fun. Like so I started, like I said, with God, what's it called? Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. I don't know if anyone's played it or heard of it. It's part of the starter set, I think. And that one is good for, I think, for beginner DMs as well as beginning characters, beginner players. And what I've tried to do, it's fun because you can homebrew inside of it. Like I said, I was taking some of the backstories. Like, for instance, there's one of the characters was a Minotaur species, and I think it was a barbarian Minotaur. And the backstory is they were actually part of a gladiator conglomerate, like they were a fighter, and she played the character was a slave and escaped. And so part of that, so the company that did the gladiator arrangement and the fighting would go out and take different people as fighters to fight in the gladiator ring or whatever. So that was her backstory. So in the module, there's a crashed ship. Well, I created another crashed ship. The other crashed ship was one of the slave vessels from that company that did all of the gladiator stuff and the slave and all of that stuff. And so that was kind of cool because I could create that and weave the backstory into it. And it was actually pretty emotional the way that, it was kind of put together. So that was a lot of fun. But I agree with you. I think that if you're going to start DMing, do a simple module or campaign. Like the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle is a good one to start with. There's also the Lost Mines of I don't want to say Philanderer. I can't remember what that's called. Let me look it up real quick. Lost Mines of Phandelver. So Lost Mines of Phandelver. A friend of mine who used to have a podcast in the role-playing game community. He's since kind of put it on pause. I was asking him, we're good friends, and I was telling him what I was doing, and he said that one was good also for beginning DMs. because then you can get into the more advanced ones, which are like the Curse of Strahd. I also have, where is it? Hold on one second. Yeah, let's see. Where is it? Now, I got this for Christmas. Has anyone played Tyranny of Dragons? Has anyone played that? Let's see. Oh, you soloed. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's right. You know what? You did tell me, Mike. I never did that. When you sent me some information about like how to solo your own kind of thing, I never did it. I forgot about it. I'll have to check that out again. All right. Okay, so let me go back a little bit. Okay, so Mike says, I don't know DMs do, but I keep pen and paper. Yeah, that's exactly what I had. A notebook and I had a pen and paper, and I just kind of did that, but it just got confusing. Let's see. Nathan says, yes, yes. And it's interesting. The app that my friend is creating, I told him because I'm helping him build it, and I was like, yeah, some DMs roll for every creature and some do group initiative. So it's one of those things that you could physically roll. So I just rolled a 4, and then in the app you actually put, group initiative. So you put 4 group initiative, and all the monsters get the same initiative. So yeah, that does make it a little easier. Let's see. D&D Beyond has an encounter section. I'll have to check that out. I did a search for them, and I don't know, maybe the D&D encounter thing that I found, it was kind of clunky, but it wasn't inside of D&D Beyond. It was on the website, but it wasn't like when you go and log in, and then you can get access to your monster manual and your characters and the virtual tabletop. It wasn't part of that. It was outside of that, so maybe I was doing the wrong one. The joy of extra dimensional spaces. Candlekeep Mysteries. That's a good. Let me put that in there. So it's called I love the title too. Joy of. Does that have anything to do with like the bag of holding and that kind of thing? And because I know there's one campaign I read where you can't put one bag of holding into another bag of holding because that there's like dimensional things, bad things happen, things disappear. But then there's also the Bagman, which I can't remember where I saw that, but it's in one of the books. I don't know if it's in a campaign or it's one of like the Monsters in the Multiverse or whatever, but it's called Bagman. It's very horror movie-esque because you could create this monster that lives in the bag of holding and kind of traverses through the extra dimensions and can actually come out through your bag, which is kind of horror movie-like, which is kind of cool. Okay, so the Joy of Extra, I found that. Candlekeep Mysteries, I found that, yeah. So it looks like if I'm on, let's see, looks like created by Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion spell. Okay, so cool. I'll take a look at that. Do you know, is it a free download? Because it doesn't look like I could find it, or is it like go to Barnes and Noble or Amazon and they have it there? Let's see. Cool, that's right, Mike. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it. Okay, so I'm just looking at Joel. So you say, actually, so you're playing Curse of Strahd. Split module of Dragon and the precursor to that, Dragon Heist. Okay. So is it Dragon Heist? Is that the name of it? Let me look it up. Oops. If I can spell right. Dragon. If I can spell heist. Oh, okay, I see. Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Oh, that's cool too. Yeah, anyone else have other ones? So we got the Joy of Extra Dimensional Space. We have Dragon Heist. We have the one that I was going through, the uh, Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Candlekeep Mysteries. That's right, Candlekeep Mysteries. That's the other one my friend said. Not just he mentioned the not I keep wanting to say Philanderer. That's not it. What's it called? Yeah, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He did mention the Candlekeep Mysteries as one. Candlekeep Mysteries. That's right, Candlekeep Mysteries. Isn't that the one where it has multiple one shots? Is that the one? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Oh, okay. So Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Okay, so that's good. Oh, cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, Waterdeep, the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Cool. Thank you. Those are ones I'll check out because yeah, that's a good list of ones for new DMs, and I'll check it out. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's a video I do. I do want to do a video on. I mean, right now I'm just kind of riffing off the top of my head. Uh, Things that I learned about being a brand new DM after running 4 sessions, kind of thing. But I think I might do a video where it's like go into a little bit more detail about kind of the experience, so that people who are brand new to it kind of know what they're getting into from someone who's just a few steps ahead of them, kind of thing. Um, and then, of course, if I people could then chime in and give me advice on what's coming, kind of thing. Vault. Okay, so another one. Oh, there's one called the Vault of the Golden Keys. Oh, 13 one shots. Yeah, a friend of mine uses. Oh, that. Oh, okay, that's a good one. A friend of mine. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Let me look for it real fast. It is. Gotta make sure I got all these tabs open. All right. Where is it? Okay, so there's that. Okay, so here it is. So she uses it's the Tyranny of Dragons Adventure League modules, Defiance and Flan, PHLAN, and that is. Let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, so it's this one right here. It's a PDF. The Cult of Dragons has come to Flan, a lawless refuge, and it's cool because it's got a bunch of one shots in it. It talks about running the adventure, adjusting it. Talks about it's kind of so it's more or less you can, and I eventually correct me if I'm wrong. I get the feeling it's kind of like it's actually like an event where people like a bookstore or a game store or whatever will put on Adventure League, and you've got like DMs, and then you have players, and everyone's playing from these modules or something like that. That's kind of what I remember, but I'm not sure. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So yeah, it looks like it talks about. So it's a lot of you can learn a lot about DMing from just this little module. Um, yeah, and then it talks. Then each one, I think there are 5 different missions. And actually, when I first started coming back into D&D, I went through 3 of these because my friend Jay, who actually Mike, she does one shots on like the third Saturday of every month for new players. And so I went to 3 of them, and she ran through 3 of these. So that was kind of cool. Hey, Jubilee, good to see you. I'm glad that, as you saw, the dice video went live, And after all that rolling, that you were a part of many of the hour-long sessions of rolling those dice. You can kind of see the first one has come out. So I'm probably going to do 3 or 4 more, because when you have like 5,000 plus data points, there's so many different angles and how to slice the data and what it means. And the one I have out right now is just like one angle to it. Like some commenter said, sounds like you're cherry picking the statistics for only the interesting stuff. And I was like, and I replied to the person, but in my head I'm thinking, well, of course I'm going to pick the interesting stuff. No one wants to watch the boring stuff. But yeah, there's so many different assets. And so I kind of did cherry pick. The statistics don't lie. So it's you cherry pick what you see as interesting and say, oh, that's what this video is going to be about. But there's like probably 3 or 4 more topics just by running different versions of the data or different analysis. You can see different things come out of it. But anyway, so I'm glad you were there for those. Okay, so Joel, so eventually it's a bunch of tables play the same game, different angles or something like that. Yeah, I kind of get the feeling like that's why I think I'm going to I'll talk with the game store that I've talked about before. I think I'm going to message that friend of mine who opened that brew pub, see if he wants to do something. And I don't know, do any of you guys know this? Like, I'm not looking to get paid or anything, but if you've ever been to those events, like where a dungeon master or two comes into like a brew pub or a brewery or a bookstore or whatever, do they pay the DMs as part of it to bring in people? Because I know that's what they do. A bar will pay a band to come in, because the whole idea is that the band comes in, brings in people, so they pay the band, and then of course people buy alcohol and food and all that kind of stuff. So I was just curious how that works, because I really have no idea. Let's see. Yeah, it was a fun experiment. Yeah, it was. It was fun. I actually enjoyed doing it on the lives, because I think it was you mostly, Jubilee, and it was fun talking to you as we were going through. And I think there may have been like one or two people who would bop in and out. Sometimes you do, yeah. I mean, it's a friend. I'm not going to charge him, but I was always curious, because when I see people post in these Facebook groups about, we played D&D at this brewery, and you can see it's like 5 or 6 tables. So it's not just like one group; it's like 5 groups of people playing. And I was like, they're bringing in customers, so you would think that there would be something. But I was just curious. Let's see. So yeah, has anyone played Tyranny of Dragons? Because I think I personally love, it's Dungeons and Dragons. So I personally love the dragons. And this one obviously is all about dragons. And I think it starts at level 1. We got a lot of stuff here. Let me see. Yeah, it's chapter 1, The Greenest Flame. I think that's, you start at, let's see, it usually says. Yeah, it's an adventure for characters levels 1 to 15. So my assumption is you start with the first chapter, and by the time you get to the end, you're dealing with Tiamat, which is always a fun thing to do, right? Dealing with the Queen Mother of Dragons. So yeah, so trying to think of other things, like with being a DM, what I love about it? It's almost why I like teaching. I used to teach and at the college level and graduate level, and I love the feeling of imparting, like, that someone's like, you can kind of, like, when you're teaching, you see like something click, and you get that they're like, oh, it's like, now I understand. There's kind of like that, what's it called? That it just makes you feel good that you're actually helping someone. And it's the same thing with being a DM, like knowing that you're guiding these players and giving them a good time, and getting them into the game and having fun. Like that's I really like that part of being a dungeon master. And I also like, and if you think about it, when you're a player, as it's sort of like you're going through, and if you're not in combat, you're talking amongst the other players or whatever it might be. And then once you get into combat, you just go around and based on initiative, obviously. And sometimes, you have your turn and then it might be 15, 20 minutes before you go again. You're still having fun, but so for this, as a DM, you can, just, you're always on basically. It's like you're constantly orchestrating what's going on. It's almost like you're a referee, so to speak. Let's see. So that's what I like about 2. So yeah, let me go back here. All right, so we got that going. So let me see. Let's see. Lore, high levels, impossible to find a group in South Africa. Oh, so you're in South Africa. You may have said that. I may have forgotten. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I know most of my audience, I can look it up real fast, is the US, I think. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, well, that's interesting. So 56% of my audience is from the United States, 5% from Canada. So you're talking about 60% North America, 4% United Kingdom, and then Germany 3 and Australia 2. Let me see where South America is. Let's see. South Africa. South Africa is probably it's like number 15 or something like that. It's only, how much percentage? It's 0.4% of my audience from South Africa. So you're one of the very few in South Africa. So that makes sense. Now, have you ever thought about playing online? I know trust me, it's not the same as being in person. There's just something about being there with friends and people. But have you tried doing something online? That might be your best bet. Oh yeah, so Buster, yeah. Oh, Buster, I recognize you. You've been in some lives before, so welcome back. That's funny that yeah, it is interesting when the group that I was playing with where I was DM, they are all in the 20s except for one guy who's like 40. I'm 53. He was like 40, but the other ones were like 27, 25. The other one was 30. So young people. And then let me see. Actually, this is interesting. So the age of my viewers. Where is it? All right. So let me see. Yeah, the age of my viewers is actually, let's see, 40, about 44. About 70% of my viewers are between the ages of 25 and 44. So the vast majority of my viewers, a big set of them, are actually 25 to 44 years old. In my age group at 53, between 45 and 54, 8.4%. And then 55 to 64 is 2.2, and then 65 plus is 0.7. So yeah, that's what that is. But that was kind of shocking, which is good because I think that means that a younger audience, is coming through for D&D. I think that's great. Let's see. Oh, your PC died. You need one. Are you on your phone now? I assume you're on your phone. And from Brazil. Let's see, Brazil. Oh, well, welcome, Bruno, from Brazil. Let me see where Brazil factors in here. Let's see, Seymour. Now, does it break it down? Yeah, it probably does. Oh, Brazil. Look at that. Brazil is so it's United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, Brazil. So you're in top 10. then the Netherlands, then Poland, then Sweden, then Italy, France, Denmark, Spain. Okay. So 38. Okay, so Bruno, you're uh seasoned DM. Like that's your thing. Like when it comes to for D&D, that's your thing. That's awesome. I'll admit, I like it. Like I enjoy it, and it was scary because when you're coming back into D&D and you're going from 1E, which I could barely remember, to 5E, and the whole thing. Remember Thaco? Anyone who, I think it was up to 3E. I think 3E they got rid of Thaco. I think, but anyone who's my age and played back then, that was the thing. What was it? To hit armor class 0. That was the big thing. And then when I thought about it, I was like, that was kind of confusing to a certain extent. But anyway, I digress. Um, let's see. Julie's 38. Yeah, you're part of the 2.2. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting, just the number of people. Okay, so Michael, you remember Thaco? Oh, Michael, you're not only have you, I think you've been on a few lives before, but I think I've done 2 lives, maybe 3, like 6 months ago, and then but you comment a lot, so thank you for that. Yep, to hit armor class 0. Yep, 20 years. That's awesome. Playing and DMing for 20 years. Oh, so you started young. Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, it's interesting with 3E, which I thought was interesting, and I did a video on this. Um, I think it's fascinating. I love D&D history, just the everything from the Satanic Panic and anyone who was alive in the 80s and played back then, the Satanic Panic, how the politics within the company of Dungeons and Dragons, when they kicked Gary Gygax out and someone else came in, and like I love the history of D&D, the D&D culture, the history of it and everything, but for some reason it doesn't do well. I've done 2 on the history and they didn't do well at all, but anyway, one of those is on how D&D went from 2E to 3E, and they did it by introducing Vecna. It was Die Vecna Die, and what happened was to usher in all of the ground-shattering changes that came to 3E, getting rid of Thaco and doing all the other stuff they did. They had Vecna in the module pretty much disrupt the entire multiverse, which explained why all the rules changed, which was, I thought, kind of meta. It was kind of cool. They used something, an in-story, in-game story to explain something that was happening in the real world, which I thought was kind of cool. Let's see. Yep, yeah. In fact, yeah, I found it, and I remember it being complicated because if I remember correctly, it's like you had a table. It was like a pretty big table, and it's like, if I remember correctly, you drew your hand across and you looked down and found out the number to hit armor class 0 or something like that. Yeah, I always found it confusing. Um, let's see, still play 3.5. That's cool, Buster. Yeah, yeah. The best part about D&D is you can play whatever you want to play. Like I know, there's a Facebook group and they play 1E. That's what they do. They're hardcore 1E hobbyists. That's all they play, um, and they enjoy it. It's kind of how I came up, uh, but it was. But yeah, and then they just keep doing the versions, and then 5.5 now is officially 5.5, and the changes they made there, and the monsters. They made quite a few changes to the monsters because I used to cover the differences and a lot of like the Lich. For instance, the Lich, powerful monster, but it only had like 128 hit points or something like that. The new monster manual, the thing has over like 320 or something crazy. So they beefed up a lot of the monsters to make them more difficult. They've nerfed some as well, but yeah. Pathfinder, PF1E. I've never played Pathfinder. Um, I know it's very similar from what I've heard, and a lot of people do like it. Some people have said that it takes the good stuff that D&D has, that throws out the bad and puts in other things, something like that. But I don't know anything about it besides just little snippets of data here and there. Vecna Eve of Ruin. Yeah, is that new? Is that what you mean? It's a new module. Eve of Ruin is meh. Okay, let me see. Eve of let's see. Eve of Ruin. Oh, I see. Yeah, adventure. So it's an adventure for 10 to 20, level 20. Wow, that's up there. And of course, I think Stranger Things obviously really helped D&D along the way. I think that was kind of that cultural that was tempest, so to speak, where some like the very first scene in that show was them in the basement playing D&D, and I always get nostalgic looking at that because literally that's the way it was in the 80s, and I kind of and when I watch that, and I've gone through Stranger Things like twice, and or no, three times, and every time I've seen that scene, it brings back memories because I was their age back in the 80s when they were playing. I think they're probably like 12 in that scene, something. That's how old I was, and I remember you'd be in the basement with your friends, you'd have the snacks, and then your mom would call down the steps, it's time for dinner. Like literally, it was the same thing that played out, when I was younger. So it was kind of cool. Okay, that's cool, Mike. Oh, you played Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played it yet. One of the reasons why, and I think I have to like nerf my system, like you see the back here of this one, it's a gaming laptop. It's a Legion. My real job is video. Like I do video. Like I am on video for other people, like other channels on YouTube, like mostly business channels. So I've got clients, like five or six clients who hire me to be their YouTube presenter, so to speak. And so I do a lot of the editing. So I needed a powerful laptop, but I booted up Baldur's Gate, and the fans just this thing started making all kinds of noise. It was stressing out big, big time. So I think I just need to go in and like nerf some of the graphics and do. Someone also said that in Nvidia there's a setting that you can use to do something that puts less stress on your system or something like that. But yeah, let's see. I was just reading yours, Bruno. Is that they could have made the Lich resistant, which is by clever use of more spells. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're a bigger bag of meat now. They've got a lot more hit points. Like I said, it's over 300. Might be like 320 hit points, something like that. Let's see. Just catching up on here. Let's see. So you're in my so Michael, you're with me. You're 45 years ago. Yeah, it's going back. Yeah, I mean five. I mean 1E. I remember it was from what I remember, it was a lot more challenging. Like your character died a lot. Like I remember my characters dying almost all the time. Um, my first character was I. Here's what's funny. Here's what's funny. I went to a excuse me, sorry. I went to a Catholic school, And it was during the Satanic Panic. My school didn't care. It was like literally the D&D club was at the school, and every week at like Tuesday, let's just say Tuesday for an hour or 45 minutes, they had clubs, and I joined the D&D club, and it was school sanctioned club. One of the teachers, the eighth grade teacher, was the DM, and I remember it being like 5 or 6 of us, and my first character was a wizard. I thought it'd be cool to be a wizard, and back then, wizards were even, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Even more fragile than they are now. It's like I remember the only spell you had was Magic Missile. Your armor class was terrible. You had terrible hit points, and literally my first encounter, whatever it was, I was dead like that, just like that. So yeah, I never played a wizard again because they were so easy to kill, so fragile. My next was a paladin, and then I remember I did a ranger, and then I think I just did a fighter. I think the last character I had was a fighter dwarf. That was just before high school. So anyway, going back memory lane. All right, let me see. We'll love D&D till you fail your final death save. Yep, yep. Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, that's the other thing that I'm gonna get all weird now, but like when I think back, like when I watch that scene in Stranger Things when those kids are in the basement, I'm like, it was such a simpler time. Like I would give anything to go back there to when I was 12 years old. I remember I was so excited because I just started playing D&D, and the D&D cartoon came out, with Hank the Ranger and Uni and Bobby the Barbarian, like the not Vecna, Venger kind of thing. And then the first, my favorite part was the first thing that they encountered was Tiamat. Like these, you assume like level 1 characters, kids from the real world, and they have Tiamat to deal with. So I thought that was funny. Let's see. So Mike, you say cooling stand. Okay. Okay, so you have a Lenovo too. So yeah, it looks like I probably just have to cut the graphics down. I'm just reading through. D4, yes, Buster, right? D4 in robes. It's like you were so fragile. Like today's spellcasters are fragile as well, but just not the same as they were back then. Yeah, resurrection quests were very common. Yep. Joel, it's a good question. I do not know Matt Mercer, and I've never met him. I actually, so to give you some inside, what they call inside baseball, like behind the curtain stuff. So I've decided to start a podcast, and the idea is going to be an interviews type of podcast. And it's really not to get views. It's more to like network and get to meet people in the D&D space, other creators, uh, companies that make like, maybe the maker of Honest Dice, uh, people who make, maybe a VP or a lead developer or a lead product designer at Roll20, or, something like that. But I created, like, I'm looking to do like season 1, 8 episodes. And I have 4 people that I will say yes, like a few friends. I have my friend Jay is a professional dungeon master, so I could have her on to talk about what's it like to be a professional DM and make money as a dungeon master, and what that means. That like 4 people I know will say yes. Then I have a tier of creators who I want to try to have on who are bigger than my channel. Like I'm at 12,000 subscribers, getting people who are like the 50,000, kind of thing to kind of start. And then I have my dream list. So my dream list, and this is where I'll answer your question, Joel. My dream list, I'm not going to hit for Matt Mercer right away because he's probably the biggest hitter in D&D right now. I mean, I think Critical Role is probably the biggest YouTube channel when it comes to D&D by far. Uh, and of course, they've done Vox Machina and the Mighty Nine. That's all by Critical Role. So he's like, he's like super stardom kind of thing. But I want to try to network and get to know people in the D&D space. My goal is maybe by season 5 or 6, let's say a year from now, where my channel starts to get, bigger. Maybe the podcast grows, or I start to make inroads, or I meet someone. I have someone on the podcast who knows someone who knows someone who knows Matt Mercer, kind of thing. Because I would love to do that. That was a long story for a simple question, but I wanted to give you guys kind of like where I'm thinking, and that would definitely be a bucket list thing to do. Real quick, so one of the people I want to reach out to is like on my dream list for season 1 to get on the podcast is Ed Greenwood. Does anyone know who Ed Greenwood is? I'll be quiet for a little bit, see if you know who Ed Greenwood is. Okay, so I've got to catch up here. Let's see. I've never played a cleric. I'm just looking at Nathan. I never played a cleric. Yeah, Buster, mid 80s. Yeah, mid 80s. I would love to go back. Let's see. Interesting. I don't know much about the Eve of Ruin, so I can't make really any comments there. Well, Michael, I tell you, let me say, any kind of spellcasters, wizards, warlocks, when they get higher levels, they're super powerful, like incredibly powerful. I mean, it's crazy, but you have to like survive to get to that point. Okay, so Winter, let's see. Okay, so you played way back in the day too. So 82, 83, Halfling Rogue, cool. Oh, that's awesome. You've been playing the same one. That's really cool. You played a half, not the same character, but you've been playing a Halfling Rogue. Okay, got it. Let's see. Summer of 79. Well, here's what's funny is like, even though most of my, like 75% of my audience is between 25 and 45, looks like we got some old folks on there, like me, who are probably in their 50s, which is awesome. Yep. Ed is the father of the Forgotten Realms. He would be awesome to have on. And for some reason, I've been doing some research on him, and he's a big guy. Like he's a heavy hitter, but for some odd reason, I don't know. I kind of think there's a good chance he might say yes, depending on how I reach out to him. So I kind of got a good feeling because he does a lot of podcasts. Um, I'm more on the smaller side of like subscribers and all of that kind of stuff, but you never know. I'd love to have him on. Like one good question is, he created the Forgotten Realms. The Forgotten Realms are kind of it's lasted so long. Like that's like it's crazy how the longevity of his universe is, or well, I was gonna say was, but it's still around. Elminster, yep, that's right, that's right. So he's gonna be 58. Is that what you mean? 59? Are you guys giving me your ages? Oh, you're okay. Never mind. Because I was like, Ed Greenwood, I think is a lot older than 58. So you're 58. So 58, 59, 56. Hey, look, I'm 53. I'm the young guy here, right? Oh no, that's cool. I was like, wow, Ed Greenwood is like 58. It's like no, he was born according to this, born in 1959. So you guys can do the math on that one. But yeah, I think it would be cool to have him on board. I think it would be cool to do it. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to do is kind of to more or less get to know more people in the D&D world. And I don't really care about the views. I mean, that would be cool, but it's more or less trying to just connect with other creators, connect with other people. Like who have influence, even like minor influence in the D&D space, uh, that kind of thing. And even other people like, you know, Etsy sellers who, are they sell products online or have like 3 or 4 Etsy sellers that sell D&D related or RPG products, that kind of thing, just to try to get to know more people, because it's one of those things that, as much as an introvert as I am, I know that, you have to, get out there, and they say no man is on an island kind of thing. So it's more or less, I kind of want to build those connections, and try to make friends with these people. That would be so much fun. He's 66. Okay, cool. I'll see, he's still young. He's still a young dude. Oh, you know what's funny? Wintermute, he's on my list. Matthew, he's on my list because um, I was doing some research and found Beetle and Grimm's, and when I did it, I was like, oh, he's like, I had never heard the name before, but I was like, oh, he's big in the game, and I was like, I want to have this guy on. So then I did some research, but that's funny that you mentioned that. Oh, Pointy Hat too. Like, yeah, AJ Pickett. Yes, I was thinking of Pointy Hat, AJ Pickett. Let me go over to my YouTube. Who do I follow? There's also the Dungeon Dad. Let's see, because I'm trying to like find people who are like bigger than me, and I think they would say yes, kind of thing. Like, I would love to have Ginny Dion, who I think is the biggest solo D&D creator on the platform, but she's not going to come on my show first season, kind of thing. It'd be great if she could, but she's busy. Where is my? Oh, I got to go to YouTube itself, not just the studio. All right, let's see. All right, so yeah, like Pointy Hat is one. There's a guy I actually have connected with. His name is DM Timothy. He's a good creator. He's probably like I don't know, like 20. He's got 21,000 subscribers, so he's growing. But he's more or less on DM tips. Like his like latest video is not the latest. Let's see, where is it? Bill 5.5. Let me try that again. 5.5E tactics most players never learn. Your D&D fights are too long. Want to play with bubbles? The new primordial warlock. So basically it's mostly DM tips and strategies, but he does throw in some player stuff in there. In fact, I talked to him and we were just riffing about strategy on YouTube and stuff like that, and I gave him the idea. I was like, because his thing was like, DMs are such a smaller subset of the D&D world, the D&D space. And he's like, but that's kind of where I play. And I'm like, you probably could do some player focused ones, not player tips, but maybe give players the DM perspective. So it's sort of like, as a player, why does my DM do that? Or why would my DM do that to me? Or why does the DM make these decisions? And then you could kind of create videos for players to watch, but they still are about, DMs, if that makes sense. And so we'll see what he does. That's the one piece of advice I gave him. But anyway, like there's a couple other, like Mr. Rex. There is a few smaller ones that I want to pull out. Where is he? There's Jordan. The Dungeon Dudes, I follow them, but they're pretty big as well. Probably wouldn't do it. Zach the Bold. Yeah, so there's a bunch of them that I would want to reach out to. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, Ed Greenwood would be the guy who would. I kind of feel, even though he's huge, he might say yes, but we'll see. I'll let you know. All right, Dungeon Soup. That's right. Did you mention that to me? I think I have them. Yes, Dungeon Soup. Yep. And the other thing is, it's interesting, and is that some creators I know on faceless channels, they don't like being interviewed. Not necessarily for D&D, but I know I'm a part of another community that does more business related stuff. And there's a lot of podcasters in that community for everything under the sun, VR to lots of things. But anyway, the trouble is a lot of times they want to reach out to creators who have faceless channels, and they don't want to be interviewed either voice or on camera. So, which makes sense. That's probably why they have a faceless channel. Anyway, let's see. I'll come back to you, Joel, because I had a thought about that one. Yeah, Mr. Right. I was watching. I didn't know he had that, like his Kickstarter. I was watching some video, and I remember he popped it up like somewhere in the middle, like advertising it. So I don't know much about it though. Let's see. Drow Historian. Let me do that. Let me find him. I don't know who that is. Drow Historian. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. And he's 31,000 subscribers, so he's not too big where he would just laugh and say, go go away. So he's within reach, so to speak. Oh, I have to listen. Yeah, I like that. Monsters of the Underdark. Yeah, I love lore. Lore is like the best. And I remember when I was younger, like my favorite thing to do was to get the monster manual and literally go through every page and just like read everything there was. And it's just I love the lore. Let's see what else is there. Den of the Drake and Loot Goblin. I'll try that too. Oh, cool. Let me search for those too. All right, and then let's see. Go back to let's see. It was Joel. I haven't heard of the horror story creators like Den of the Drake. Well, that's what. That's yeah. Then Jubilee actually mentioned that too. Let me go. Den of the Drake. Let's see. Nice. He's might be a little big for me though. He's 110,000 subscribers. Might be a little big, but I just subscribed to him, so at least I'll have that. And then you said, what was the other one? Crit Crab. I haven't heard of Crit Crab either. Was that? Let's see. Did I do that? Let's see. Crit Crab. Yeah, Crit Crab. Yeah, he's even bigger. 430,000 subscribers. Jeez. I'm just looking at the page. Wow, that's a lot. Now, why am I? That should be. Yeah. There's Crit Crab. And then I had. Let's see. Yeah, then the Den of the Drake is 110,000 subscribers. I mean, you can't hurt. I don't know any of these people, but it's like anytime I see 100 or more, I'm like, they're like I'm down here, and they're like way, way up there. Sands of Doom. Is that a good beginner campaign, Jubilee? Yeah, Mike. Yeah, because I know you've been watching my shorts. Probably I don't want to say from the beginning, but you've been watching them for a while, and that's my favorite thing to do with shorts is just give these little bite-sized lore nuggets, so to speak, and then for like 30 to 40 seconds. I love doing that. Pack Tactics. I think do I have him? I know that name. No, I don't think I do. Let's see. Pack Tactics. Let's see. Pack Tactics. I like the name though. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, these are so much. I mean, there's so much creativity, right? I mean, you go to someone like DM Timothy, and he's kind of like a talking head kind of thing, kind of like what I do. And then there's Mr. Rex, who is all voiceover lore with images and stuff like that. Then of course there's where Mr. Welch, who's also uh, does some interesting things. I mean, there's so many different ways that people can do uh, just so many different ways people can do YouTube. And this is like when's his last like Puckin D&D. Yeah, 4 months old. And I always try to support like new creators because I'm at 12,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And like if I see a creator at like 1,000 subscribers, it's sort of like, I know, how can I help that person grow? But they also have to be publishing quite a bit. And this last person was 4 months ago. Do they do shorts? That was 4 months ago. It looks like he started, and then 4 months ago he stopped. So it's all about momentum. That's the thing on YouTube. If you ever wanted to do a YouTube channel, it's the long game. You just got to keep doing it. When you first start, no one's watching. You get depressed. Things aren't going well. You don't have enough subscribers. You put out something and only 400 people watch it, and you're like, oh, I'm just not going to do it. You just got to keep doing it. That's the thing. And of course, there's Jenny D, who's just shy of 1 million subscribers. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there are a bunch of people I could ask. Let's see. What do we have? Dinner Drake is cool. Loot Goblin. Yep. Pack Tactics. Got that. Mr. Rex Kickstarter. Let's see. As a DM, my favorite thing to do is to drop a non-monster manual DM. Oh yeah. Well, it's funny because for SD Modeler, in our campaign, Mills Crossing, Mike knows this, is the very session 0, Brett, the DM, he was like, and just so you know, the monsters that I'm going to throw at you, they may or may not have the same stats and abilities that you all know, and kind of thing. And I think he even said, it's like, you probably know the monsters better than I do. So it's like he kind of would take them and then homebrew them a little bit so that we're not, we know everything already about the monster. Yeah, Buster. I assume you mean Ginny D. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their. So like I think I've said, like I belong to an online community. It's mostly for business. They do some stuff for creators and podcasters and all of that kind of realm. And one of the guys in the community, he says his name is Pat Flynn. I don't know if you know who he is. He's done mostly business. Like I've been listening to his podcast since like 2012. And he's always been known for business, like online business, all of that kind of stuff. And then he started a Pokemon channel, and now he's like, it's Deep Pocket Monster, and he's probably like the second or third most watched Pokemon YouTube channel. It's crazy. He started it like 5 years ago, and it's just blown up. So, where was I going with that? I was going to say, he says, your vibe attracts your tribe. So it's sort of like, not everyone is going to be into Ginny D because she does her way. Not everyone's going to want to watch my videos either because they may not like the style that I do. They may not like the content. They may not like they may not like that I'm bald. I mean, who knows? Who knows why people watch the things that they watch? So yeah, everyone has their thing, so to speak. Oh my God, it's them. Where does I'm just curious. SD Modeler, what was you mentioned? What was that in reference to? Oh my God, it's them. You have it in quotes. D&D Hunter. Okay, let me watch. Let me see that too. And then there's the whole. I don't know if you guys see this, but then there's the whole drama side of D&D. Like there's the whole creators who their entire platform is D&D news, and it's not like D&D news like this new product's coming out, but it's about the drama and the scuttlebutt that people are talking about. It's things that are bad that's happening, or even if something good that's happening, there's somebody in the space that's upset about it. It's sort of like this big drama D&D area of YouTube. So I don't really play it. I think I only follow one person in there because she talks about D&D from the corporate side. It's still drama, but it's a little bit more based on the business of D&D and Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast more than anything else, but it still has a lot of drama. So D&D Hunter. That's what happened to orcs in D&D. That looks pretty cool. Oh, he's okay. So he's 15,000. So he's right where I am. I might put him on the list to uh, talk to. It looks like 2 days ago. He's very consistent. It looks like it's a faceless channel. Yeah. All right. So oh, AI. Okay. So don't get me started. So AI wise, I so if any of you have been with me from the beginning, like when I first started, my shorts were uh guess this D&D monster. That was like when I first started, and then I slowly transformed into more lore based. Well, my logo, if you remember back then, was a goblin, and it was, it was AI generated, but I went on Fiverr and I had the guy like make some changes to it. So it, because it was good, but I was like, can you make it, can you do this? So a real person touched it up and did the things I wanted to do. Even the header was AI generated, but it got all the numbers on the dice wrong. It had the background was weird. So I had this guy go in and fix it all up, but it still looked AI. The number of comments I got and about using AI was so over the top that I was like, okay, I'm taking this down. So I did that. And I'm like, okay, never again will I use AI. Accidentally on one video, I use a was it a video tool called Veed, Veed, and it's what puts the captions on my shorts, and it does a almost perfect job of transcribing, makes it easy. It's great. I accidentally hit it says on the timeline, there's a button that says add B-roll. I accidentally hit it. I accidentally hit that, and it generated all this AI slop. I downloaded it, uploaded the video, and the next morning I wake up and the comments are like, what is this AI slop? This looks terrible. This is awful. And I was like, there's no AI slop. And I opened the video, and lo and behold, this system just put in a bunch of, whatever it thought an orc looked like. That's so anyway, I digress, but yeah, AI is a whole big thing in the D&D world. Basically, it's don't use it. Let's see. Tucker's kobolds. That's right. Where have I heard that before? Why do I know that, but I don't know it? I've heard of Tucker's kobolds. Oh, and you said it's them. Oh my God, it's them. Okay. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I use AI. Like I keep saying inside baseball because, but like behind the curtains, it's like, yeah, I use AI to help me with my videos. Like I like doing research. I will help it with the script writing. I will try to get it to give me ideas for titles and thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. And so, but I think it gets to a point where some people are using it to like generate everything on their channel. Like AI, I think YouTube is trying to stop it, but there are places that crank out hundreds of videos a day through using AI, and it just like posts it out there. And YouTube has kind of gone through and cleaned that up. But yeah, I think it's a. I know we're not talking D&D, but I think with AI it's a balance. I think it's useful, but I also, for me personally, I try to avoid AI stuff if I can. Like if I start a video and I hear an AI voice, I'm gone. If I start a video and I see like a bunch of AI stuff, I'm gone. And eventually, probably in a few years, you won't be able to tell. But until that happens, Anyway, I'm probably dating myself. I sound like that old guy. I walk to school uphill both ways in a snowstorm kind of thing. I also like. I think you guys. I use AI to help me with backstories, which I think is fun. And the way I do it, maybe I should do a live where I actually like show you how I do like a video, but like I'll talk to AI, transcribe it. Like instead of typing it, I'll say something like, all right, here's what I'm trying to do. I want my character to have a backstory where they do X, Y, and Z, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to, you know, how does it bridge the gap between, their abusive mother and, whatever is in my head, but I'm trying to connect dots and I need some filler stuff. That's fun to use AI for too. Um, AI sub Avenger, yep, yep. I'm just looking at yeah, and I will use like for I'm in another campaign as a player, but we've only met once, and then we were going to meet again, and someone had to cancel. The next time, someone had to cancel. So we've only played once, and I don't know when the next session is. It could be dead, fizzled out. But for that one, I did use AI to create my character because I was like, I can't draw it. I'm not going to hire someone just because I don't have the money to hire someone. So I'm like, I'll just do an AI thing, and that worked. Let's see. Yeah, Joel, it's that's the one thing I like bouncing ideas off. If you were to watch me, because with for my real job, like working with clients and stuff like that, I'll do everything from like I'll be sitting there trying to compose an email, and I'm like, how do I say this? And I'm like, and so I'll write something up, and I'm like, no, that doesn't convey what I want to convey. And then I'll just open like I use Claude, and I'm like, hey Claude, here's what I'm writing. What I want to try to convey is this. And I basically tell Claude in my layman's terms what I'm trying to say. And it 90% of the time it gives me back kind of what I want. I still have to tweak it to make it my voice. But at the same time, it does help speed that process up. Rather than trying to agonize over an email to find the right words, I write the first draft, can't figure out how to say something, throw it into there, and it helps me. So that's the other part of it. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the terrain wizard. Yeah, that's a big deal. The data centers, because I live in an area. I live in Maryland and the United States, and we're going through a drought right now. We're about 6 inches below normal on rainfall, and you can start to see like the lakes and rivers are starting to like go down. You can see banks, and our politicians. And I know I shouldn't be getting into politics, but our politicians, they look at the data centers as big dollar signs. And I'm like, we're already in a drought. Why would you put a data center that's going to use more water when this area has been in a drought, not a severe drought, but a drought nonetheless for like the past year and a half, 2 years? And like, why would you then siphon off more water? And they want, it's not mandatory water restrictions, but they're doing voluntary water restrictions. So they're asking residents to not, take long showers, don't water your flowers, don't wash your car, that kind of thing. But they want to put these big data centers to, so anyway, yeah. Let's see. Where are we? I'm just looking at some of these, and I have to run. Wow, 2 hours goes by fast. Holy mackerel! Yeah, like not to get on the AI bandwagon again, but one of the things I do like is sometimes, and we all do this, like you know what you want to say. You can say it out loud. You can say it in your own terms, but if you're gonna email it to a client or like for instance reaching out to Ed Greenwood, 100% I'm going to ask AI what's the best way to do this, because there are best practices in reaching out to, I don't want to say famous people, but reaching out to people who are well above your grade, so to speak. And there are people who write stuff about that. There are people who give talks on it. So, asking AI to kind of like, what are the best practices here? So that's always a good thing too. It kind of helps out. Yeah, right, Jubilee? It's 2 hours already. Uh, let me wrap up. Let me see if I'm missing any comments before I head on out because I do have to jump off. Let's see. So Buster, you're talking about backstories. Yeah, backstory. We talked about this earlier. I don't know if you were on, but we were saying like when did backstories become big? Because when I played in the '80s, I never remember anything about character backstories. Now it's a big thing. So, and I think Mike, my friend Mike said probably like 3.5 was around that time. Uh, yeah, and Elriod. Yeah, I was saying that when I'm a DM for the campaign I was 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 running, all the players gave me their backstories, and then I tried to weave their backstories into the campaign to make it more dynamic, more alive. It's so much fun. Yeah, Michael, I agree. He's legendary, but he seems to be like a normal dude, right? All right, so there we go. All right, everyone. That's it for me. I got to run. I really appreciate you spending time with me today. I know all of you are busy people. You have plenty of things to do outside of watching me on the internet and talking. But yeah, thank you so much. Oh, one last thing. I just created. Um, oh, the ranger. I don't have a ranger's portrait. I didn't do that one. I did for my warlock. I'm running the the campaign that I said I was in, but we only met once. I did a warlock. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Boy, where was that? Let me think. Uh, hmm. I don't know where that is. I sent it to my DM. Let me open this up real quick. All right, so go here. I can share that with you when I find it. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. I sent it to my DM, so that's what I'm trying to find. I sent him a link. Anyway, I can't find it, but it was a tiefling warlock whose patron was Asmodeus. His mother, long story short, the father was a circus, like think of the Greatest Showman kind of thing, uh, on the road a lot, not doing well financially, struggling. The wife came from a better, more well-to-do family, hated the fact they were poor, so entered into a deal with Asmodeus, who then granted them kind of thing, and by de facto, my warlock, that's their patron. So they're trying to figure out all of that. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, one thing a lot of people have asked me about if I had a Discord server. So if anyone's still here, I do. I do have a Discord server. I just created it uh, literally yesterday. I think it was just yesterday. So it's free to join. I think it's a cool way to stay in touch with everyone. Let me find it real quick. Um, and this, I've only given it access to friends. And eventually I'll be talking about it on the channel. I'll probably do a short. I'll send an email out. But if you're still here, you'll be the uh, first to join if you want to. All right, so it is. Let me find it. Where is that? There we go. Use copy button. Hold on 1 second. Generate new link. All right, so I don't know if I can. Can I type in here? I can. Here is. All right, so there is the Discord. All right, so you can see it right there. I won't leave yet. So if you wanted to get it, I don't think I need to. I'm new to Discord. I mean, I'm part of a few servers, but I don't really use it. So um, I think you just click on it and accept it or what have you, and I think you get in. I don't think I have to approve or anything. All right. Have fun, Mike. Talk soon. Enjoy your Sunday, whatever you're eating. Sounds good. If it's on the grill, it's probably good. All right, Winter Mute. Thanks a lot. Thanks again. Oh yeah. If it asks if you're human, yeah, just go human just in case, because you never know. If you put elf or halfling, it might just kick you out. It's that way. So yeah. Yeah, Jubilee, take care. All right, so I am going to log off in about 30 seconds. So if you haven't, click the Discord. Again, it's free. It's a great way to like stay in touch. I'll be on it once a day, twice a day. Check on it. Probably in the beginning, I'm going to be on it more often than not, but at least I put in a thing that at least get in once a day to see what's going on and that kind of thing. Hopefully more, but it'd be fun to do this, like have a community outside. So anyway, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Nathan. It was been fun. 2 hours went by fast, and I will see everyone